this session once again. So in this session, we will discuss about macroeconomics. We have already discussed about micro. Now we will discuss about macro. So as far as syllabus is concerned, syllabus again, weightage for this subject is also 3%, means you will get 3% questions out of these topics. Here you have to learn functions and role of money, then inflation, what are the different types of inflations and what are the causes of inflation, and what is inflationary gap. Then how to control the inflation. There are different methods, monetary, fiscal, and direct measures for controlling the inflation. Then we have to discuss about the opposite of inflation, which is deflation. So what are the causes and effects of deflation? What is deflationary gap? Measures to control deflation and deficit financing. Then we have to learn savings and investment. What are the different types of savings? What are the determinants of savings, investment and types of investment,
Sir,
determinant of
kind
investment?
request to switch to full screen.
Okay, I will try to do that.
Thank you, sir.
Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we have to learn about savings and types of saving, determinants of saving, investment and types of investment, determinants of investment, relationship between savings and investment. Then we have to learn components of economy, primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, informal and sector in urban economy, then parasitic components in urban economy. Then we have to learn about the concept of gross domestic product and gross national product, then capital formation, etc. Then we will learn about basics of parallel economy. You know, what are the causes of parallel economy and what are its effect and use on land and its valuation and impact on the real estate market and construction industry. The effect of what is the effect of parallel economy. So first, we will discuss about what is microeconomics. So microeconomics, as a definition states, it is a study of overall performance and behavior of economy. So it includes a study of regional, national, and global economies. So as in the microeconomies, we were discussing about the local economy. Here we will be discussing about the regional, national, and global economy. So it is a study of, basically it is a study of overall performance and behavior and economy on the basis of region or on the basis of national or on the basis of global. For examples of microeconomics are consumer choices, demand, supply, social welfare, opportunity, cost, prices, elasticity, and competition. So basically, what microeconomics do, it discusses the issues affecting the economy and identifies ways to resolve them without compromising the set economic policies. So basically, here what you have to do, you have to find the ways, you have to discuss the issues which are affecting the economy of the region, which are affecting the economy of the region or at the national level. And we have to find out or identify the ways to resolve the problems which are there in at regional or economic level. But at the same time, you have to do all these things without compromising with the set economic policies. The first thing you have to learn is what is function of money. So money you know needed in each and every part of our life. So as far as economics is concerned, from economic points of view, money you need for various functions, for to facilitate trade, for investment you need money, for economic stability you need money. So the various functions we will discuss about the functions of money along with some examples. First thing, money is a medium of exchange. So basically, medium money is a medium of exchange, means money is used to facilitate the exchange of goods and services. So it eliminates the inefficiencies of barter system. Before the invent the money, barter system was there. There the goods were exchanged for one good, another good was given instead of money. That was barter system. But nowadays, money is used as a medium of exchange for goods and services. So these are used where a direct exchange of goods and services is required. For example, when you buy groceries, you use money to pay for them instead of bartering goods like vegetable for bread, etc. So first function of money is it is a medium of exchange. Second one thing is you can store the money. It has some store value. So money you can save and retrieve in future. You can save the money in banks, or you can save the money in many methods, and you can use it in future that saved money. So it is that money is able to maintain its value over time. Of course, if you are depositing in the bank, you may get higher value than what you have deposited today. So at least if it will be able to maintain its value over time. So you can plan accordingly for your future. You can save the money for future, also for future expenses. For example, you deposit some money in the bank to ensure that you can use it on later on to buy some goods or services, such as saving for a down payment on a house. And third function of money is unit of account. So it provides standard measure of value, making it easier to compare values of different goods or services. For example, prices of various items differs. For example, a car is costing 10 rupees, where 10 lakh rupees, whereas a laptop is costing 50,000 rupees. So based upon the price of the product, you can differentiate between them. You can differentiate between the value of. So these can be easily compared because they are expressed in the same monetary unit. It is a standard of deferred payment. So money can be used to sell if you are taken loan and you can pay the debts in future. So it is a standard for deferred payment, those payments which are to be done later on. So money is used to settle debts that are payable in future. So in this way, you can get loans for the bank. For example, you mortgage your house and you buy something on the basis of mortgaging, and you agree to repay the loan at a later state at a certain rate of interest, and in this way you are using money as the medium of payment. So these are some of the functions of money as far as economics is concerned. There may be certain other functions also, but we are discussing these four types of functions. Then the thing, inflation. Inflation means increase in prices. So now we will discuss with different types of inflation. First type is demand pull inflation. So as the name suggests, as the demand increases, prices will increase and thereby inflation will increase. So it occurs when the demand for goods and services exceeds their supply. It is because, for example, increased consumer spending, government expenditure, or investment. These are the causes of demand pull inflation. If the consumer spending is increasing, if the government expenditures are increasing, or investments are increasing. For example, during an economic boom, consumers have more disposable income, so leading to higher demand for products, which pushes the prices up. So, as the name suggests, with an increase in demand, prices increases that affect the inflation. Second is cost push inflation. So cost push inflation, as the name suggests, as the cost of production increases, this will result in increase in prices of goods and services. And why the cost may be increased, cost of production may be increased because of rising cost of raw materials or rising wages of the labor, or you need energy for running the machineries, etc. And if the rate of electricity per unit increases, that will increase the investment production cost and thereby lead to increase in inflation. So, for example, a sudden increase in oil prices can raise transportation and production costs, leading to higher prices for the goods. And next type of inflation is built-in inflation. So it arises from the expectation of future inflation, leading businesses to raise prices and workers to demand higher prices. Means if the owners expect future inflation or the workers expect future inflation and they need more money, or the workers are asking for higher salaries or an increase in salaries. So the cost of production will increase and thereby resulting in inflation. So it depends upon the historical inflation trends and psychological factors. For example, if workers expect prices to rise, with they think that the prices will rise in the near future and they will demand higher wages, which in turn causes business to increase prices to cover the higher wage cost. So that is built-in inflation. And next type is hyperinflation. So hyperinflation is when there is extremely high and typically accelerated inflation rates. So if the inflation rate is much higher than the normal inflation, that is called hyperinflation. So an extremely high and typically accelerated inflation rate is called hyperinflation. Maybe it may be because of rapid expansion of money supply or loss of confidence in the currency. For example, in many countries experienced hyperinflation in the late 2000s, with the prices doubling every few hours. Now we will discuss what are the causes of inflation. First cause is increase in demand. As the demand of goods and services increases and it exceeds the supply. Supply is lower and demand is higher, then the prices rise. For example, during festive seasons, increased number consumer spending can lead to higher prices for goods. This is for during festive season, you uh, spend a lot of money on buying maybe uh, sweets, maybe buying clothes, new clothes, or new things that may lead to inflation, that may lead to high prices. Producer will or the investors will increase the prices. Most of the people will be buying during this season and thereby resulting in higher inflation and decrease in supply. So when the supply of goods is and services decreases below the demand level, then the prices rise. For example, in the case of natural disasters that may disrupt the supply in that particular area, which may result in inflation due to shortages and higher prices. Then next cause of inflation is expansion of money supply. So when the central bank increases the money supply, it can lead to higher demand and prices. So, for example, printing more money to finance government spending can lead to the inflation because there will be more money in the market and supply of the goods and services may not be matching the demand. So that will lead to inflation. Next is uncertainty in investment. Because high inflation will result in uncertainty in the market and it will make difficult for the businesses to plan and invest how they should invest because of uncertainty in the market. It will lead to the difficulties for the businessmen to plan and invest in new products or in expanding in the expansion of their business. So businessmen may delay or reduce investment in new projects due to unpredictable costs. And then income redistribution. So inflation can redistribute income from lenders to borrowers as the real value of the debt decrease. So with the increase in inflation, the real value of the debt will decrease. So let us suppose if you have a fixed rate mortgage, inflation reduces the real value of your repayment over time. Then what are the effects of inflation? It will lead to decreased purchasing power. As the prices rise, value of the money decreases, reducing the purchasing power of the consumer. With the same amount, you will be able to buy less number of things in case of inflation. So let us suppose if the inflation is 5%, something that cost rupees 100 last year will cost rupees 500 this year, reducing the amount you can buy with the same amount. Then inflationary gap. So what is inflationary gap is basically? An inflationary gap occurs when aggregate demand in the economy exceeds aggregate supply at full employment, leading to upward prices pressure on the prices. For example, during a period of rapid economic growth, if consumer spending and investment outpace the economy's ability to produce goods and services, it creates inflationary gap. Means you have consumers have more money to spend, and investors are investing. Let us suppose what if we take the example of real estate, that consumer have enough money to buy new houses and investors have enough money to invest in the infrastructure. But there is a problem that the economy is not able to match these two things. The economy is not able to produce goods and services which are required. So it will create a inflationary gap. So we take it as a in the example of a real estate example, in a booming economy, demand for houses is increasing as more people will have higher income and seek to buy a house. If the supply of new homes does not keep pace with this increased demand, it leads to higher property prices, exemplifying demand pull inflation in the real estate market. So this is inflationary gap. Now we will discuss how we can control the inflation. What are the measures we can take to control the inflation? We will discuss them with certain examples. First thing is monetary measures. Monetary measures means involving central bank's actions to control money supply and interest rate. So what the Reserve Bank of India can do? It can control the money supply in the market. It can change the interest rate of the in the for on deposits and debts. So here the goal is to reduce the amount of money circulating in the economy, thereby reducing inflationary gaps. For example, if the interest rates are adjusted, so RBI can increase the interest rate. So if the interest rates are increased, what it will do? It will make the borrowing more expensive. If the more borrowing is more expensive, it will be less attractive to the consumers. So if it is less attractive, it will lead to the reduction in spending and business investment, so which can lower the inflation. For instance, Reserve Bank of India might raise the repo rate to curb inflation. Next is open market operations. So what RBI can do? RBI can sell government security to reduce money supply. So when people buy these securities, they pay money that is taken out of circulation. So in this way, inflationary gap can be reduced. So one thing you must know is cash reserve ratio. So what is cash reserve ratio? Cash reserve ratio is a certain percentage of cash that all banks have to keep with RBI as a deposit. So this is a certain percentage of cash which all the banks have to keep with the RBI as a deposit, that is called cash reserve ratio. For example, if the cash reserve ratio is increased, it means what will do? It will hold larger portion, banks will hold larger portion with the RBI as reserves. So that will lead to decrease in the amount which is available for them for lending, and thereby it will decrease the money supply. Thereby inflation may be controlled. And then first we have discussed monetary measure. Now we will discuss fiscal measures. So fiscal measures may be monetary measures are generally done by the Reserve Bank of India or Central Bank of a country, and fiscal measures are taken by the government. So it involves government policies. So what the government can do, it can increase or decrease the taxes, and it can reduce the public spending. So what it can do to control the inflation, it can increase the price taxes. If the taxes are increased, it will lead to lower disposable income available with the consumers, thereby affecting their spending. For example, increase in income tax rates can help reduce inflation by lowering demand, and that's what government can do is reduce the government spending. So governments can cut back on its spending on public projects and services. This reduces the amount of money flowing in the economy, helping to control inflation. For instance, reducing subsidies on fuel can help lower inflationary prices. And third type is direct measures. So direct measures, these are certain measures which are of regulatory type which may control the prices and wages directly. So these measures are often used in conjunction with monetary and fiscal policies. They are not taken independently, they are taken along with monetary and fiscal policies. For example, price controls. So when the prices are going beyond reach, government can set the maximum price for essential goods and services to prevent them becoming too expensive. For example, during a period of high inflation, government can impose price cap on the basic food items or food as the case. And similarly to the price control, government can also keep control over the wages. So government can limit the wage increase to prevent wage price spiral. So where high price wages may lead to higher prices and vice versa. For instance, freezing public sector wages for a certain period of time, it can also help in controlling inflation. And the next thing is deflation. Deflation is opposite of the inflation. So it refers to the decrease in the general price level of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. So inflation is opposite of deflation. Inflation is increase in the general price, and deflation is decrease in the general price level of goods and services in economy over a period of time. So what did deflation do? So in the case of deflation, the value of money rises relative to the commodities and services. It means it will lead to the purchasing power of, it will increase the purchasing power of currency. The purchasing power of the currency will increase due to deflation. So both inflation and deflation, the higher rate of both of them are not good for any economy. And next thing is demand pull deflation. So as in the case we have discussed demand pull inflation, there is another term demand pull deflation. So as the name suggests, it occurs when there is decrease in aggregate demand in the economy. So in inflation, it was increase in demand. Here it is decrease in aggregate demand in the economy. So as the demand falls, business face unsold inventories and reduced production, which leads to overall spending and prices. And second is cost pull inflation. So inflation arises due to decline in the cost of production, which allows business to reduce their prices while maintaining profit. So this leads to falls in general price level. Next is causes of deflation. So first is monetary policy. If there is tight money supply by the Reserve Bank of India, it will lead to deflation. And if the rate of interest are higher, it will lead to expensive borrowing and reducing spending and investment. Next is number two is decrease in aggregate demand. So during recession, when there is recession, consumer and businessman's confidence will drop, and it will reduce spending and investment. And then demand may be because of increased saving. So if the people start saving more and spending less, anticipating further price drops, that will lead to deflation. And if the supply increase, that will lead to more deflation if there is more increase in deflation, aggregate supply. It may be because of technological advancements. So innovation can lead to increased production that can lower the cost and resulting lower prices. Or if there is overproduction, because once you have set up an industry and you have set up machinery, so number of units it will be producing, it will continue to produce same number of units each day. And a time may come that when there is excess of supply and goods then required in the market, that can further lead to drop in the prices. Next is, what are the effects of deflation? So deflation will lead to more unemployment, because in this situation companies may cut cost by laying off workers, leading to higher employment. And that burden of the persons, of the producers, of the investors will increase, and it will make harder for the borrowers to repay the loan. And all these things will lead to reduced consumer spending. So as the prices fall, consumer may delay purchases, expecting further price drop, which can lead to the deflationary spiral. So now we will discuss this deflationary gap. So what is deflationary gap? A deflationary gap used in the market. So the gap indicates underutilized resources and can lead to prolonged period of low economic growth and high unemployment. And now we will discuss how that deflation can be controlled. As we have discussed in case of inflation, here we are discussing it from the deflation point of view. So first type is again same monetary measures. So what in case of inflation, we have discussed that interest rate may be increased here to control the deflation. Interest rate, RBI can reduce the interest rate to encourage borrowing and spending. And Then, as in the case of inflationary gap, or to control inflation, RBI can sell the government securities. Here, RBI can buy the government security buys to increase the money supply and stimulate the economy. Then fiscal measures. So in case of deflationary period, government can increase the spending, thereby boosting the demand and create jobs. And it can reduce the taxes to increase the disposable income with more disposable income with the consumers, encouraging more consumer spending. Then direct measures, as you know, in case of inflation, we have the government fixes maximum price. Here, the government can set minimum price for essential goods to prevent prices from falling too low. And similarly, in waging policies, implementing minimum wage laws can help maintain consumers' more purchasing power. Now we will discuss deficit finance. So what is deficit finance? Deficit financing involves the government borrowing money to cover the budget deficit. So you know every year there is increase in the budget deficit, means the money available with the government from all the sources, and the money it has to spend on all the spending, then it is called deficit finance. So do use to deficient financing is done to stimulate the money during deflationary periods by increasing public spending without raising taxes. For example, during Great Depression, India became an exporter of precious metals, especially gold, during the years of Great Depression, thereby helping global recovery. Next thing is savings. So saving, you know what is saving? The money which you earn and out of which you save it for future spending. That is called saving. So saving refers to the portion of the income that is not spent on consumption. It is typically set aside for the future use. So some of the type of the are emergency months. You saved money for some unexpected expenses in the life. You save money for your retirement. That money you can use after your retirement. So you set aside certain amount for you use after retirement. For example, in provident fund accounts, national pension schemes, etc. And then short-term saving. Those you may save for the short-term goals such as for a vacation or buying a new gadget or buying a new car. And long-term savings are for long-term goals such as for buying the house or funding education of your children. So these are certain things related with the savings. So now we will discuss determinants of savings. What are the determinants of savings? First thing is income level. Higher the income level, higher will be the savings. Then interest rate, if the banks are offering higher interest rate for saving, then there will be more saving. Then economic expectation. So positive economics outlook can increase saving. So if there are chances or there are speculations that economy will go high, so it will can increase saving. Then cultural factors, cultural attitude towards savings and spending. Certain communities they have the culture of saving money, so their attitude towards saving and spending affect the savings of the saving. Then government policies. If the government is offering tax incentives on social security system, that will increase savings. And next thing is investment. So as the name suggests, you know what is investment. Investment involves allocating resources, usually money, with the expectation of generating an income or means you invest in purchasing a property so that you can sell it at a later stage to have some income, or you may earn profit by selling it at a later stage. So that is investment. So you may invest in the stocks, means you can buy the shares of a company. You can invest in the government bonds, means lending money to the government or corporation. Then you can invest in real estate, means you purchase a property to rent it to get income from the property in the form of rent, or to get profit after selling it at a later stage. Then you can invest in mutual funds, means pooling money with other investors to buy a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds. And then you can invest in commodities like gold or oil. So next is determinant of investment. So here we are talking about investments, not saving. In case of saving, it was higher in interest rate, but in case of investment, if you are able to get loans at a lower interest rate, if the cost of borrowing is lower, that will encourage the investment. And if the economy is going up, it can lead to more investment opportunities. And if the businessmen have confidence and their expectation, they expect better business conditions, that can boost the investment. And if the government is providing tax incentives and subsidies on investment, it can encourage investment. And with the change in technology, with the innovations, more and more innovations, it can create new investment opportunities. Next is relationship between saving and investment. So in an economy, saving and investment, they are closely related to each other. So basically, when you will invest, when you have some saving, only then you can invest. Otherwise, the money you need for your day-to-day expenditure, for day-to-day living, that you have to use in day-to-day living. But the money you have saved, that money you can invest. So they are closely related to each other. So saving provides the funds that can be used in investment. For example, household savings. So when household saves money in the bank, these funds can be lent out to the business for investment. And interest rates, if higher savings can lead to lower interest rate, making borrower cheaper and encouraging investment. For example, a country where households save a significant portion of their income in the banks, these banks can then have more funds to lend to the business at lower interest rate. So a company might take a loan to invest in new machinery, which can increase production and potentially lead to economic growth. Then components of the economy. First one is primary sector. So primary sector means basically the agricultural sector, that is called primary sector. it involves the extraction and harvesting of natural resources. So this includes the activities as agricultural, means farming crops and livestock. Then mining is also primary sector. So you may get one question out of these, that whether agriculture is primary sector, mining, fishing, and forestry.
Yeah, sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So there is an announcement from the observer side. Your face is from here to here. If your face is not visible on the screen, then no attendance will be provided. Please make sure that from here to here should be visible on the screen all the time during attending the class. If your face is not visible, then no attendance will be provided, because this meeting is being monitored by AI, artificial intelligence. And if your face is not visible, then no attendance will be provided to anyone. Please make it sure that you should follow all the protocols as fixed and already circulated in your group. Yes, sir. Please continue, sir. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, thank you, Sandeep ji. So agricultural is a primary sector. You may get one more question with whether agriculture is a primary sector. So any of them may be a one more question in your examination. Then mining. Mining also comes under the heading of primary sector, means extracting of minerals and ores. And fishing, harvesting fish and other seafood. And forestry, managing and harvesting forest, timber and other related. So these all things comes under primary sector that involves extraction and harvesting of natural resources. Then secondary sector, so the manufacturing sector, processing sector, that comes under the heading of primary, secondary sector. So it focuses on manufacturing and processing. So what it does, it transforms the raw materials into products and the raw material is taken from the primary sectors and they are converted into finishing goods in the secondary sectors. For example, manufacturing unit producing cars, electronics, textiles, and similarly construction is also construction of buildings, infrastructure, roads, etc. They come under secondary sector. And then utilities providing essential services like electricity and water. It again comes under secondary sector. And the third one is tertiary sector. So that sector which provides services rather than income. So instead of goods, if you are talking about services, it comes under tertiary sector. For example, selling products to the consumer. So shops, retailers, they are selling products to the consumers. They are not producing. Producer and in the secondary sector. Retail sellers are in the tertiary sector. Similarly, healthcare, you providing medical services, then education services offering teaching and training, then financing such as banking, insurance, and investment services, etc. They come under tertiary sectors. Means service providers comes under tertiary sectors. Next is informal sector in urban economy. So informal sector, it consists of economic activities that are not regulated by the government. So informal sector are those activities which are not generally regulated by the government. These activities often lack formal contracts and workers' protection. For example, street vendors. So selling goods in the public spaces in the street, that is comes under informal sector. Similarly, home-based business. So small-scale producer or services of which are operating from the home, they come under informal sector. And then casual labor. Casual labor means temporary labor, temporary work without formal agreements, such as day workers, day laborers, which you brought for your construction work or some other work, that is casual labor. Next is parasitic components in urban economy. So that components are that activities that drains resources from the economy without contributing to its growth. That activities that drain resources from the economy without contributing to its growth, that components are called parasitic components, such as corruption, so misuse of public offices for private gain, which can divert resources from the productive. Next is black marketing, means illegal trade of goods and services, which operates outside the formal economy and avoid taxes. Then rent seeking, activities aimed at increasing one's share of existing wealth without creating new wealth, such as lobbying for favorable regulations with the government. May some of the business may collaborate with certain government servant for getting new favorable regulations for his business so that he is able to create more wealth without investing, without creating new opportunities. So those components which drain resources from the economy without contributing to the growth of the economy are called parasitic components. Then the two things which are very important. First is gross domestic product and other is gross national product. So you must concentrate on these two definitions which are very important. So as far as gross domestic product is concerned, it measures the total value of all goods and services produced within a country's borders in a specific period of time. See here, total value of all goods and services produced within country's borders in a specific time period. So it includes output of foreign residents and business located in the country, but exclude output of the country's residents and businesses located abroad. See, this is important thing. Output of all the foreign residents who are working in India, it will be included in the value, but the business or output of the country's residents, means non-resident Indians or businessmen which are located abroad, that is not to be included in gross domestic product. So it is total value of all the goods and services produced in country's border in a specific time period. For example, if a Japanese car manufacturer produces cars in India, the value of these cars is included in the GDP. And second most important thing is gross national product. So see here the difference. It measures the total value of all the goods and services produced by the residents of a country, whether they are where they are located. Means all those persons who are Indian citizens but are working in foreign countries. So the services provided by them, they are included in gross national product. So it includes the output of countries' residents and business located abroad, but excludes the output of foreign residents and business located within the country. So see here the difference. It includes the output of foreign residents and business, but gross national product, it excludes the output of foreign residents and business located within the country, but it includes the country's residents and business located abroad. So this is the difference between GDP and GNP. For example, if an Indian software company operates in United States, the value of its services is included in the gross national product. Next is capital formation. So what is capital formation? So capital formation refers to the process of building up capital stock of a country through investing in productive plants and equipment. So capital formation, it is a process of building up capital stock of a country through investing in productive plants and equipment. For example, investment in physical capital such as machinery, buildings, and infrastructure, or investing in human capital such as investing in education or training to improve the workforce skill, or investing in financial capital such as investing in savings, investing in financial instruments, etc. So thereby capital leads to capital formation. So when a company invests in a new machinery to increase its production capacity, it is engaging in capital formation. Then the important thing, parallel economy. So parallel economy, which is very much prevalent from Indian point of view. So it is also known as black money, shadow economy, undercurrent economy. So it refers to those economic activities that are not reported to the government. So those government economy activities which are not reported to the government. So what it will do with those which are not reported to the government means these activities will be done to escape the taxation and regulation. So this sector operates outside the official economic system, including both legal and illegal activities. So what are the causes of parallel economy? Because of higher tax rate, most of the inhabitants try to escape that or try to pay lower taxes because they have to pay a large amount of money in the form of taxes to the government. So that will lead to the parallel economy. And then because of complex regulations that businessmen will try to operate outside the formal economy because of complex regulations. And the most important thing, corruption. So corruption within the government institutions can facilitate growth of parallel economy. And then lack of trust in the government. When the people's confidence in the government's ability to use taxes or revenue effectively, they will be more inclined to evade taxes. And most of the times, if there are cash-based transactions, so if the inhabitants rely more upon the cash transactions, so it will make higher or easier to conceal income and avoid deductions. So thereby they will be paying lower taxes to the government. So now we will discuss what is the effect of parallel economy in land and its valuation. So basically, when you buy a property, you get it registered at government prices or collectorate rate given by the government instead of registering it at the actual price. So thereby it will lead to distorted land prices. So it can lead to inflated land prices as black money is often invested in real estate. So if more and more money is coming in the real estate, and that will lead to higher prices. So that will distort the land prices, that will increase the land prices. And if more and more money is coming in the market, they will try to develop unplanned urban growth will be there. There will be environmental degradation. illegal construction, and illegal land use. So another thing that will be important is reduced government revenue. So if there are cash transactions without the knowledge of the government, and if they are persons, if they are registering at the collector rate, but the actual price is much higher, they are evading taxes to be paid to the government, thereby reducing the government revenue. So another thing will be market inefficiency. The presence of economy, parallel economy can create inefficiency in the real estate market, making it difficult to assess the true value of lands and properties. So you will not be able to find the true value of the land and property because of presence of parallel economy, and that will lead to lower available data, in inefficient data, inaccurate data available for doing valuation. So that will make your valuation inefficient. So for example, in many urban areas, black money is often funneled into real estate. So what it can do, it will lead to unauthorized construction of buildings which are not complying with the zoning laws, with the building laws, and it is not following safety regulations. So these properties might be sold at inflated prices, distorting the real estate market and making it challenging for the genuine buyers for prices. So impact of parallel market on real estate market and construction will be the prices of the property will increase because of them. Black money will be funneled into luxury apartments and commercial property, causing prices to soar beyond the reach of average buyer. And it will distort the market dynamics, means leading to speculative bubbles. So there will be speculations that the prices will increase in the near future, which is called speculative bubbles. And these bubbles can burst anytime, causing significant economic stability. For example, in cities like Mumbai and Delhi, real estate market has experienced sharp price increase followed by a sudden drop, partly due to speculative investment driven by unaccounted funds. And then it will lead to reduced transparency in real estate transactions because buyers and sellers may underreport the transaction values to avoid taxes, leading to lack of reliable market data. And in the construction industry also, there will be unregulated construction. For example, unauthorized constructions will be there in the urban area, often lack of proper safety measures posing risk to the occupants and surrounding community. And there will be skewed resource allocations because the available money, it may be which may be diverted to the other project funded by black monies, leading to an imbalance and inallocation in the construction resources that can affect the availability of quality of infrastructure. So in some areas, high-end residential project receives more attention and resources compared to the essential infrastructure projects like roads and public utilities. And then economic efficiencies. So parallel economy creates economic inefficiencies by diverting funds from productive investments to speculative real investment project ventures. So this can hinder overall economic growth. For example, invest instead of investing in industries that generate employment and innovation, significant amount of unreported incomes are channeled into real estate, which may not contribute as effectively as economic development. So this is all about market macroeconomics.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
In the point of investment, commodities, investing in physical goods like gold or oil. Because I would like to be explained again. What is the comparison between investing in physical goods like gold and oil? Gold, okay, physical investment to increase the value of money or like things, but how it will be
Sir,
affecting
here
oil?
here we are not talking about individual. Here we are talking about economy at regional, national, and international level in the macroeconomics. When you are buying oil at a lower rate, when suppose India is buying
Okay, sir.
oil at
Got it.
rupees 30 per barrel, and you know in the international market rate is lower now, and they expect that rates are going to increase in near future.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
So
sir.
here we are talking about not about talking about an individual. In micro, we
As
were
a country
talking
whole, we can invest in the oil buying
as
purchases also.
as a country we can invest in the
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So friends, any other doubt or question related to this subject?
Sir,
Macroeconomics
can I?
and parallel economy.
Sir,
Yes,
can
sir.
I?
Yes, sir.
Sir, coming back to tertiary sector, we discussed about the different sectors. Can you please open the slide? Different sectors: primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector.
Sir, what do you want to ask about tertiary sector?
Tertiary sector, we normally refer to the services, right?
Yeah.
Services. So how come retail is coming in the sub sector like this?
Sir, see what is in the primary and secondary. Primary is related to extraction and harvesting. And what is secondary?
Manufacturing, construction, utilities,
Yes.
etc.
Now, what a retail seller is doing, he is neither dealing with the agricultural or primary sector, nor he is dealing with secondary, nor he is producing anything. He is buying from the primary or secondary
Okay.
and selling it.
वो बेचारा को किसी ने जगह नहीं मिला इसलिए आपने उसमें डाल दिया ऐसा।
हाँ जी,
वो बेचारा को किसी में जगह नहीं मिला हुआ ऊपर।
नहीं सर, जगह नहीं मिला, वो एक दुकानदार है।
हाँ,
दुकानदार क्या कर रहा है? दुकानदार तो कोई प्रोड्यूस नहीं, वो वीट प्रोड्यूस नहीं कर रहा है सर, वो तो मार्केट से बाय करके ला रहा है। प्रोड्यूसर कौन है? वो तो फार्मर है, फार्मर प्राइमरी सेक्टर वाला है। एक कोई आदमी जो है वो शूज सेल कर रहा है, वो शू बना नहीं रहा, शू बनाने वाला जो है वो सेकेंडरी सेक्टर में है। शू
बट ही इज डीलिंग इन द
सेल करने वाला वो टर्शियरी सेक्टर में।
सर ये सिर्फ सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड कर रहा है, ट्रेडिंग कर रहा है। रिटेलर सिर्फ ट्रेडिंग कर रहा है, ना तो बना रहा है ना ही प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है।
But he is dealing with products, right?
Sir, either manufacturing or production.
Okay.
ठीक है, दोनों में से कुछ भी नहीं कर रहा है, वो सिर्फ एक तरफ से खरीद रहा है, दूसरी तरफ को बेच रहा है, सर्विस दे रहा है।
मैन्युफैक्चर तो नहीं कर रहा है ना सर?
नहीं।
तो सेकेंडरी में क्या वर्ड है? मैन्युफैक्चर है सर।
ठीक है, ओके, थैंक यू सर।
जो आप प्रोवाइड करते हो एज ए वैल्यूअर, आप उसी सेक्टर में आते हो सर।
Excuse me, sir. One more point in the subject of inflation, effects of inflation, open market operations, direct measures, wage price spiral. Can you explain once more, sir? Wage price spiral. There is some one word like that.
Monetary in the controlling of inflation.
Yeah, open market operations and fiscal measures and direct measures.
Yeah.
In the effects of inflation, controlling of inflation.
Yes.
In that, direct measures are price controls, wage controls, and one more word is wage price spiral. It looks something new to me.
Yes.
Wage
Price
price control. Wage price spiral, sorry.
So this is basically increase in the price, wages of the workers.
Okay.
Wage price increase in the wage price basically. एक सर्कल है वेज प्राइस, आपको पता है कि वेज जो इंक्रीज होते हैं वो कुछ सर्टन प्रोसीजर है जिसके हिसाब से वेजेस इंक्रीज किए जाते हैं। कुछ तो साल के बाद आपका वो जो एक इंक्रीज होनी है वेज में, एक है कि आपको जो जितना इन्फ्लेशन हुआ उसके हिसाब से आपको डियरनेस अलाउंस दिया जाना है, तो एक प्रोसीजर है वो, दैट इज कॉल्ड वेज प्राइस स्पाइक।
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sometimes it depends on the law of the country and states and various other laws.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
तो ठीक है संदीप जी, वी कैन हैव इट लंच ब्रेक।
Okay, right, sir. For how much time, sir?
You can take it for 1 hour.
Okay. So friends, it is 1:50 now. We will take a lunch break for 1 hour. We will rejoin sharp at 2:50 p.m. And there is an announcement for Mr. Parmar Soham Bharat Kumar. Mr. Parmar Soham Bharat Kumar, am I audible to you? Mr. Parmar Soham Bharat Kumar. Okay. So we will rejoin sharp at 2:50 p.m. Till then, you can leave the meeting and join 5 minutes before starting the meeting.
Thank you, sir.